Konnichiwa, bitches. This is your host, a Neckbone Charlie, and this is the inaugural Illuminati Fantasy Football League mid-season analysis. Now, since it's the first time we're doing this for this league, so we'll break down the format to you guys, and then we'll go into the analysis for each team, top to bottom, but it'll be a little different this time. I won't be going by record, I'll be going by team name, from dumbest to best. And some of you have some pretty terrible names, and you'll see this pretty soon on, just how bad your team name actually is. But the format, I'll just describe the team, a couple of pieces that you got, a couple of pieces that you don't got, how your season might be going up to this point, and then we'll discuss your future. I'll grade each of your futures from an A to F scale, just like school. So, that being said, let's get started. Up first, we have Team K Rich 513, sitting at 3-6. This is probably the worst team name out of the league. It lacks all originality, has no creativity. It has no logo to speak of. On top of that, the lineup to me screams that I only set my lineups for DFS cash, which is all good because his lineup looks like he sets his lineup because he only watches the NFL on Saturdays. Looking at his running backs, they're all bottom tier, in my opinion, spearheaded by CEH, Kareem Hunt, and Cordell Patterson. None of which have been able to really crack anyone's top 10 or even top 20. Most of his running backs positions have already been taken by better players, so a bit unsure where he's going to go there. His receivers, on the other hand, are actually a strong suit with Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf, and Chris Godwin, all giving him quality numbers. However, it hasn't really translated into wins. Star tight end Kyle Pitts, however, probably going to be next year because his quarterback that throws him the pigskin is absolute ass chitlins. However, he's got an okay bench, but no one really to speak of. Again, not translating into wins for him. His future, I'll give him an A- for a grade. His own first should be as high as the one he received because he does not project to go very far or really anywhere this particular season. He has a few pieces: Tony Pollard, Wan'Dale Robinson, Trevor Lawrence, and Brevin Jordan. Some nice future pieces to build on. So if you can put that with the two firsts that he has coming up next year in next year's draft, he should do something. Seattle's defense, I did want to bring this up. It's up and coming, but it seems like to me he may have gotten that through dumb luck. But for the future, might be something for him. But his playoff chances for this year, in the pits. Next up, with team name, second dumbest is Turtle, sitting at 4-5. This team name is absolutely horrendous because who the fuck puts a euro sign in the middle of their name or at the end of their name? Speaking about his team, though, seems to be getting by mostly on bad matchups. He was a part of a preseason trade, which many thought was a violation on the person that he traded with. However, I disagree. I feel like he won the trade because he got an absolute haul in draft picks, and he's pretty set up well for the future. And considering that he's 4-5, he's still viable. One thing you want to be in this league is viable with the future. If he wants to go anywhere this season, though, he's going to have to try and find a running mate for his prize running back, Christian McCaffrey. He likes to will and deal on occasion, so we'll see if he can kind of work something out there. Future, I'll give him an A+. He's got tons of young pieces. We have the massage receiver returning, Deshaun Watson. Could have been an A++ grade if he would just stay patient with the absolute haul he got preseason and just kind of kept his young talent. But nonetheless, he's got a shitload of young pieces with all his original 2022 pieces remaining. And I'll rate his playoff odds, at did you just drop Isaiah? third worst team name, we have Mr. Mo Cook, sitting at 3-6, something like that. He's a virtual unknown, at least to me. He didn't really have much thought in his name, but he did put at least a logo, so I'll give him some points for that. His team, however, has been assembled, and has been assembled well to win it all in 2019. His running backs consist of an older King Henry and a fading and threatened David Montgomery. And that's really it. I'm not even joking. There's nothing here on the panel that I can see that he has. That's literally everything he has as far as running backs. Given that he actually has been getting shockingly consistent production, because he's around the league average in scoring, believe it or not. He's got an okay defense, but to go back on his offensive players, one of his prized possessions, Hunter Renfrow, has been an absolute bust, and I believe is on IR. So, not looking good for Mr. Mo Cook. However, his future I give a B+. He didn't have any current impact players, but he has a phenomenal setup for 2023. He's got multiple picks in multiple rounds. So look to him to be wheeling and dealing in next year's rookie draft, because his future literally hinges on it. He cannot fuck up this draft. He cannot. And for his playoff odds, I'm going to have to rate it. Is this your king? Next up in team dumbest name, have Air Raid Let It Fly. Pick one. It's simple. Pick one. It's either Air Raid or Let It Fly. Either or is solid, but you have to pick one. You cannot have run-on sentences as a team name. That is horrendous. But he does have a logo, and he did put some thought in the name, so he's not top on the list. But pick one. Speaking about his unit, though, he's got a top 3 starting unit in my opinion. 3 legendary pieces. He places spearheaded by Travis Kelce, Devontae Adams, and Ezekiel Elliott. He's got a good bench, isn't great, and he's still looking for wherever the ghost of A.J. Dillon may be to kind of help him out. His defense I have here okay, but fading. You have to look up which defense that is, because I forgot damn sure ain't doing it again. Future, I'll give him a C-. He isn't necessarily old, but he's old in the wrong places, because you have Ezekiel Elliott, who's fading, Devontae Adams, who's 30, and Travis Kelce, who's 47. These 3 pieces can't hold it down forever. You got to expect that they'll probably fade for the next 2 years, so he's going to have to do some moving in the future, which would be okay if he didn't give up a second-round pick for a practice squad running back, which is what he did earlier in the season. But we'll give his playoff odds, considering how balling his team is, at fantastic. Next up, we have Winston, win in parentheses by any means, sitting at 2-6. I think that's right, 2-6. I won't go too much on his actual team name, but it is named after a disgraced, delusional backup quarterback. Getting to his team here, though, it's got to be one of the best teams I've ever seen suck. I mean, it's uncanny how many shots he's taken from the rest of the league to fall to such a porous record. He's got a top-tier starting unit. He was able to dodge Kamara's suspension, although it won't matter because I believe he's been the first team to actually pack it up, start to turn some of those assets into picks, which is what you kind of want to do in Dynasty if you're out of the running. But to round out the rest of his team, he has Michael Thomas and Keenan Allen. Both of those gentlemen are just broken men at this point. They can't get on the field. None of their extremities seem to function the way that they want them to. So he's going to have to do some changes there. We'll see how he does. But I'll give his future a B+. It's just, Tyler Algier, Garrett Wilson, and Jordan Palmer. I never get that one right. He's got multiple picks, 2023 and 24. So he can build on this stacked unit that he's got. And, he could be a force to be reckoned with in the future. Just not in the cards for this guy this year. Playoff odds, Hurts to Winston. Next up, and now we're out of the kind of terrible team names. We're now into just mid-grade, mid-tier, nothing bad, nothing great. And we'll start this off with the Marsupial sitting at 7-1. It's an okay team name, but your team name, you shouldn't have to explain your team name. However, it is hilarious when you do explain it. He seems to be stacked to the moon, except quarterback, stacked to the moon everywhere else. Bench is equally stacked. All key pieces still in their prime. You just go check out the roster for yourself. It's something to marvel. As for his future, I'll give him a D-. He doesn't really have any young talent, considering every single piece that he has is in their prime, but no real up-and-comings to speak of. Spent all of his picks on current stars. He's essentially the Illuminati's LA Rams. And he'll have pretty much a 2-year window, I project, of just pure dominance. I don't see him losing more than 2 games a year in those 2 years. Afterwards, we'll see where he goes. But his playoff odds I'll put at no suck-ups. Next up, we have So Def. Again, another mid-grade, mid-tier team name. It's not bad, not great. Self-proclaimed and self-experienced is Mr. So Def, and with this proclamation and experience, he's garnered himself a 2-7 record currently. He's below average at quarterback, receiver, and quarterback. Again, that was before the injuries, so be real interested to see what he does there. He is the top 2 in most injured teams of the league. I mean, everybody on his team just seems to be decimated with season-ending injuries, and he's just not been able to put together or put the pieces back together for his unit. Looking here, it says his bench is average and overworked due to said injuries, and his prized pick, Treylon Burks, has been a bust ever since OTAs. And to round him out, it seems like Mr. Chris Olave and Damian Pierce is probably going to have to carry this mass unit to the finish line this year, unfortunately. Future, I'll give him a B. He's got 2 firsts, that doesn't hurt. One's got to be a quarterback. Javonte, however, is going to be 2 years away because, in my opinion, ACLs take 2 years, not 1, to fully recover or to fully see the player it was before the injury. But by that time, his star receiver Saquon Barkley could be on the decline, so we'll love to see, or like to see, what Mr. Def will do handling that situation. But to round out his team, I like to call him the Bateman-Burks Brittle Club. Playoff odds, I'll give him People's Gauge, fuck no. Next up, Team Rob Squad. He was actually a preseason bust by a lot of people, but he's actually shut that completely the fuck up with a stellar start to the season. Ramondre and Trubb are exactly who we thought they were, and Gibson scare has actually subsided. He's actually been pretty solid RB3 flex territory, getting great numbers out of him considering all that happened to him in off season. He's got a good but not great bench and a top 5 defense to boot, which has got to be the reason why he's staying top of the standings. Currently now a 2 seed. Future, I'll give him a B+. He's got absolutely no picks, but J.K. Dobbins and Calvin Ridley will be completely 100% and ready in 2023, in my humble opinion. He's got future stars at each position, but next year's draft, he's probably going to be that fat kid with no money at the candy store while the other kids are buying Kit Kats and M&Ms and all the good stuff. Sorry. Playoff odds, I'll put him at I can dig it. Next up, we have the Savages. Mid-grade team name, along with Rock Squad. Like I said, we're in the mid-tier team names. Nothing bad, nothing great. Preseason Savage mode he was in, acquiring a #1 tight end, running back, and top rookie Breece Hall. And they're all injured, incapable, or both. Season might be on the brink while he patches up this ship littered with rounds of napalm. I mean, he has holes everywhere. Pause. Only possible glimmer of hope is a once dead Justin Fields. In my opinion, pack this shit up. If you're wasting too much effort and resources, just pack this shit up and move on to next year. Speaking of next year, give his future a B. Stack roster for years to come. He can leverage a couple of those pieces if he takes my advice and packs this shit up. Playoff odds won't be a breeze. All right, rounding into the upper tier of team names, we have next up, God Loves Tom Kills. Upper tier team name in my opinion, however he stole it from a popular comic book, so he's gonna lose points off that. He's got youth, nothing but youth, not a soul on his team of any relevance is over the age of 26. He's got a star darling Jahan Dotson, aka season out this bitch. However, the season may have fizzled out a bit early because he had a little baby bitch hamstring that he hasn't been able to get over. God Loves Tom Kills typically talks a lot of shit, but it's really just Mahomes and a bunch of little baby brittle bitches who just can't get past these little naggy injuries that their little baby asses like want to get pretty much all season. We'll give God Loves Tom Kills future a B+, 2 firsts, and all that young talent can't hurt. One of those firsts is probably gonna have to be a running back because his current roster is a little shaky at that running back position. And he also doesn't really have much protection for Holmes, so one of the other picks or one of the future picks that he may have to get will have to be on quarterback, just to kind of give him a little bit of protection because, you know, his season may hinge or seasons may hinge on Mr. Mahomes. I'll give his playoff odds waddle to the sky. All right, rounding out the top 2. Second place for most awesome team name is going to go to the Mafia Dynasty at 4-4. It's got a fantastic team name. Simple, to the point, about business, displays power, and tells you that he's not to be fucked with as he's done this many times before. A++ team name. Speaking of the man's unit, the Allen to Gabriel Davis tandem is one of the top ones. Travis Etienne has arrived. His bench, however, is littered with shitty, sorry ass has-beens or never was. I'll have to edit that out. They suck. Spent his entire tepid draft picks on an injured defense that was on a bye and a critical week for him. So not sure what he's doing there. He's been kind of wheeling and dealing and just hasn't really been successful with his future picks. So speaking of those future picks, we're going to have to give his future an F-. He's got first 4 picks in the 2023 already gone, 2 in 2024 that are gone. I think he's got 1 in 2025 is gone, which is odd because I didn't even think you could fucking do that. He finds new ways to give away shit. So his star receiver Drake, Mr. Drake London, is a nice prospect, one of the top ones, but it's gonna have to work for him because outside of Gabriel Davis and AJ Brown, his future isn't really looking bright if something was to happen to either one of those guys. So I don't know what Mafia's gonna do there. Seems like his future has been completely hinged on a 500 record. It's not good, it's not bad, but in Dynasty, you either be getting young or you're getting winning. And at around 500, he's not really doing either. Playoff odds I'll put at London chances falling down, but we'll see though. And last but not least, with the absolute best team name in this league, coming in, everybody is food, sitting at 4-4. Love the team name, the absolute best. It's emphatic, it stands out, makes a statement. That's how it's done in this era of fantasy football, bro. Got the best team name, keep that shit cooking. Now, Mr. Freeball and Phil move mountains and lace pockets to acquire prized possession Jamar Chase. I'll redo that. Yeah, run that back. Free ball. Now I'm doing it fucked up. Free ball and Phil moved mountains and laced pockets to acquire prized possession Jamar Chase. It's kind of worked out for him. Mixed results. He was stellar before having an injury. He will be back this year and should be back to Jamar Chase. So it's got him some mixed results there. He was also able to link Mr. Jamar Chase with 3 other fantasy relevant Bengals, because what's better than 1 Bengal than 5 fucking Bengals? Clearly not giving a fuck about bye weeks. He solidified his unit with average, if not decent, ancillary pieces with Devin Singletary, Christian Kirk, and Josh Jacobs, the latter acquired in the biggest dodge bullet this year. However, he'll only go as far as the Bengals go because he has 5 fucking Bengals. Mr. Phil's future would be C+. Would have been an A, but Mr. Freeball and Phil thought to waste some crucial picks for Twitter hype, essentially. He's still able to land Deontay Johnson, has star rookie Craig Dulcich, and surprise of the year, Mr. I Ain't Right Back, Geno Smith. And we'll put Mr. Phil's or Mr. Everybody is Food playoff odds at keep getting those dubs. And that pretty much wraps it up. It took me a lot of work, a lot of time putting this shit together, so I hope you motherfuckers appreciate it, and I hope you motherfuckers don't ask me to do this shit again. Nah, just kidding. We'll probably keep doing this if the committee, sure, if you guys like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and edit this motherfucker up. Yeah, enjoy it. Give me a shout, at me, whatever. If not, peace.